Okay, so right now I have completed row 21, and this is what our work looks like so far. Okay, and I still have quite a bit on my cable, so maybe this is going to work out with my cable. But you can see that I have my center stitch encompassed with the stitch markers. So let's take a look at our pattern. So this is row 1 through 21, and hopefully yours looks like this. And if you have any holes in this area other than what you can see right here, I suggest that you rip it out. And how you would do that, it's much harder, is you unknit it. So you would insert it in the holes below the stitches, or give it another try. But my mom always said, if it isn't right, take it out. Now you can see we have these little holes here, and that's what we have to create next. And that's our next rows. The beginning of this section is row 22. So I'm going to move the pattern into the video. And row 22 says to knit. And then after rows 22, we're going to be doing some yarn overs, some knit together, and I'm going to be there with you. Now I'm going to turn the pattern. And row 23 is continued over here on the next side. We're going to knit, and then we're going to do our familiar row number 5. And then we're going to complete row 4 and 5 from rows 26 to 41. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to move the pattern. I'm going to pause the video and knit that row, and then I'll meet you back at the beginning of row 23. Okay, row 22 is complete. I knitted all the way across, and according to the pattern, if you take a glance at row 21, it says you should have 47 stitches. So I did count my stitches. I have 47 stitches. And if you want to pause the video and do that, you can. Okay. I keep saying okay, but I don't know what other word to use. Let's proceed. We're going to do row 23. And remember what I said about punctuation. We're going to read it slow and do the steps and follow the punctuation. It's like the old song, Follow the Bouncing Ball, or whatever that was. I think it was on Romper Room, so you guys are probably way too young for that. Anyway, so row 23, knit 2. So let's knit 2. There's, for some reason, it's a little more uncomfortable behind the camera today. So there's row 23, knit 2, yarn over. By now you know how to do that. Okay, now here's a new stitch. Knit 2 together. All right, here we go. So to knit 2 together, you have 2 stitches on your needle here, and you, just like you would knit, you go into the right side of that second stitch. So can you guys see that? Now we're not going to do that again till we get to the other side, I think. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you got that. Okay, so here we go. There's 2 stitches, and normally we would go in here, but we want to go in the right side of the next stitch. Here's your yarn over, and you're going to come back and see you just have one, just like you were stitching a normal knit. And on the back, see that extra, I'm going to flip it, so see that extra little loop standing up? I'm trying to do it so you can see it. That's your knit two together. And you can see that there are two loops right there, 1 and 2. And if the yarn was, like worsted, it would be look a little closer. But it will come up later. So there's your yarn, your knit two together. Okay, so we've done knit two, yarn over, and knit two together. Now, it says repeat from the asterisk to the first stitch before the center. Okay, so you can tell I'm learning this pattern just like you are. So we are going to be doing this several times. So here you guys go. We're going to be doing this from here to the center. I'm going to put my fan on. This part's a little more stressful, so I had to put my fan on. Okay, so here we go. Let's get ready and we're going to do this together. Yarn over means to move the yarn forward. Then we're going to find our next 2 stitches and we're going to go right on the right side of the second stitch, come and knit it off, yarn over, find the 2 stitches. It's a little tedious with this yarn. Okay. Yarn over, find those 2 stitches. Okay, now I'm going to do this silently and you guys can just watch. Okay, now hopefully you had an easier time than me because I'm kind of working around the camera. But the instructions said to do that to one stitch before the center. And see, that's what I did. See, here's your center stitch, and there's one stitch before the center. Now it says to yarn over and knit one, yarn over and knit the center stitch, yarn over and knit one stitch, yarn over and knit two together. Now, I know that was a little crazy, but if you're reading your pattern, it should make sense. So now we're going to proceed over here with our knit two together, and I'm going to stop the camera, and it says do that, yarn over, knit two together to the last two stitches. Now I have completed the rest of those yarn overs and knit two together, and we're over here at the end of the row with the last two stitches like the pattern says, and then it says to yarn over and knit two. Oop, you know what that glare is the cable, so I'm hoping it doesn't pop up again. I apologize for that. Oh, there goes the cable again. All right. Now, we completed row 23. And the row was a little tough, I admit, but we're not going to be doing it every row. But the reason we did it was we did a knit row, which was row 22, and that gave us that ridge. Then the yarn overs are going to give us the holes like this up here. Now we're going to do another knit row, so we're going to be turning this, and so that means there's going to be another ridge on the other side of our yarn overs. And then the pattern says after that knit row that we're going to go back to our normal pattern sequence of 4s and 5s. So I'm going to leave you, but I'm going to recap everything that you should be doing next. All right, this was row 23. And we're going to do 24, which is a knit row all the way across. Row 25 is the same as row 5. So you would refer back to your pattern on row 5. Then row 26 through 41. You're repeating what we already did. It's going to look like this. And if you turn your pattern over, and I'm going to bring it into the camera, let's take a look at what we're doing. See, we're doing this section, we just completed this section, and we're going to start the next section. Of course, you know, it's up here further, but that's what we're doing. And so now we're going to fall back into our TV mode and just do rows 4 and 5. So what I'll do is join you back after row 41. And after row 41, you should have 87 stitches. And then basically what you're going to do is you're going to start back at row 22, which was creating the knit row that we just did and the 2 together row. So we're not going to really be doing that 2 together, but for every group that we're going to do. Now I hope you stick with me. I know that this yarn is a little bit harder to work with, but you can see it's going to make a very nice, airy, lightweight shawl. It's the yarn, let's see what it's made out of again. The yarn is made out of cotton and polyester. So it's going to be very lightweight. It's only got 15% polyester, so me being from Florida, I try to stay away from, garments that include a large amount of polyester. But we know that polyester keeps our garments from wrinkling, and it may help with holding the color in when we wash it. But it's mostly cotton. It's 85% cotton, so that means it's going to be lightweight and cool for Florida.